For painting on our loom, I'm going to recommend using this Dynaflow fabric paint. It really emulates what a dye does, but if you use it with a heat fixer or this Versatex, you don't have to rinse it. Like, it's ready to use and it's not gonna run. So I'm just kind of like setting up my station to take to my loom. I know I want to use both of these colors. This one is Periwinkle and this is Sulfur Green. And you can buy these at pretty much any arts and crafts store. I bought these on Amazon. They're relatively cheap and they last a really long time. I would recommend for this class utilizing the fixer with them just so you don't have to worry about rinsing, so that your tapestry is ready to be presented. You don't have to rinse it once it's off loom. So I'm gonna mix about 1% of this with the paint that I'm gonna use, or with the Dynaflow I'm gonna use. And I'm kind of setting up this station to take to my loom. This is one, just to make it easier for me to carry, but also to, if there is a spill, it's gonna be contained in here. And I would recommend like pulling over a stool or a bench for this to sit on while you're working on painting your weft. So I'm gonna mix these up now. So I'm ready to take this to my loom. I'm also going to bring another towel to put this on top of on my supplementary bench and go get that set up first. But you see I have water to rinse my sponge brush and my paintbrush. You're welcome to bring in your own paintbrush. I know the ones we have in here are quite limited. I have a towel to wipe my brushes on, my gloves, and then my colors that I'm working with. Okay, I am ready to paint onto my weft. So you can see that I've put some supplementary towels out, just blocking everything in the path that I'm going to be following to paint onto my weft. I also want to get rid of all these extra tools. We really want to avoid getting dye on anything. We're not going to need anything right now that's not in our little box that we just brought over. And you can choose to paint your weft dry, or you can wet it before. I would recommend using a spray bottle to spray. That will just kind of get more of like a watery effect. You could also brush on water with your sponge brush. But I'm just gonna demo using the colors with both of the brushes that I've brought, just so you can see how they react to the weft. I would recommend definitely doing a little bit of a sample, so leaving a couple of inches before you commit to painting onto projects 2 or 3. So I'm wetting my brush first. And I'm gonna go in with this green. And I kind of like the more watery effect of the second one, so I'm just gonna continue adding more water. You could also add the water to your dye cup that you're using. And you can see it's taking a second to kind of soak in to the weft. Before you add multiple layers, I would definitely just like wait to see how it settles after a few minutes first. Okay, this has been sitting for a few minutes now, and you can see how the dye is kind of spreading. I really love that effect, especially here. And two ways that you can really emphasize that is once you place your Dynaflow down, add some water on top of it. So this, you can tell I've added water to kind of encourage that dye to spread a bit, whereas this was just the Dynaflow by itself. Some other variations that you can use on this technique are to use contact paper. So the paper that has kind of the sticky backing, you could laser cut or cut out to have kind of a negative space shape. Stick that to your warp and then apply the Dynaflow where the cutouts are. You could also use a template, obviously, but I think one of the techniques that I would love to see you guys try is once you've woven it, if it feels a bit too clean for you, like if you're really trying to get more of this effect, I would recommend actually unweaving the section and like winding that onto a bobbin and then reweaving it. Yeah, there is a local artist named Andrea Donnelly, and she uses a similar technique of weaving, painting, or drawing, and then unweaving and reweaving just to kind of get this more like glitchy, painterly effect. So if you're finding that the aesthetic of what you've painted doesn't quite feel like it has a hand or like the hand in it, then I would recommend unweaving and then reweaving that same exact sample with the same exact yarn.